Welcome to MBA Technical Training. You are currently watching video 1 of 3 in the Bosch Greenstar Startup series. Commissioning and startup of the Greenstar boiler. First, some startup tips. The Greenstar is designed to operate as a set-point boiler. Therefore, the FW200 control is not required to operate this boiler. To simplify the process, we recommend starting up and tuning the combustion before installing the FW200 control. Let's get started. After installing your Greenstar boiler, fill and purge the system of air. On the heat-only boiler, remove any residual air in the heat exchanger by using the manual air vent located just to the left of the heat exchanger on the supply pipe. On combi boilers, any residual air in the heat exchanger can be removed by slightly loosening the brass supply pipe union. Connect the system sensor. The system sensor connection point is located behind the control. Connect the blue and brown sensor wires to the white plug as shown in Figure 42 on page 54 of the install manual. As primary-secondary piping is the most common application, it is essential to install the system supply temperature sensor or the boiler will not function properly. Mount the system supply temperature sensor right next to the boiler supply T, as shown in Figure 41 on page 54 of the install manual. Once the system supply temperature sensor is installed, close and lock the control cover in place. Power up the boiler. Then set your maximum supply temperature using the space heating dial located to the left on the control face. The numbers on the dial correspond to typical supply temperatures shown in Table 24 on page 60 of the install manual. Recommended temperature settings for different types of applications can be found there as well. For the first 90 minutes of its life, the boiler will go through a startup sequence and will not respond normally to input from the installer. For best results, allow the sequence to completely finish before continuing the commissioning of the boiler. It is always wise to verify that your inlet gas pressure is within tolerances before beginning to tune combustion. Follow the few brief steps in section 11.4 on page 78 of the install manual. Check the incoming gas pressure using a manometer in the inlet pressure port shown in Figure 74. For natural gas, the inlet pressure should be around 7 inches of water column. For LP, inlet pressure should be around 11 inches of water column. Table 31 on page 78 also shows the permissible pressure ranges for each type of gas. Perform a flue gas test. Enter the emission test mode by holding in the chimney sweep button until the temperature and 4 bars alternate on the display. 4 bars indicate that the burner is firing at the maximum output set point on the dial. Press the chimney sweep button again. The temperature and 6 bars will alternate on the display. 6 bars indicate that the boiler is now firing at its high fire maximum nominal output. High fire combustion readings are taken at this point. Using a combustion analyzer, take the high fire CO2 reading by removing the test port on the vent adapter assembly, inserting the combustion analyzer probe, and allowing the readings to stabilize. For natural gas, the maximum CO2 output should be 9.4%, as shown in Table 30 on page 77 of the install manual. If adjustment is required, remove the seal from the gas throttle and make very slight adjustments using a slotted screwdriver. Counterclockwise increases CO2 levels. Clockwise adjustments decrease CO2 levels. Allow readings to stabilize before making additional adjustments. To perform the low fire CO2 test, press the chimney sweep button again. The temperature and 2 bars will alternate on the display. 2 bars indicate that the burner is firing at its minimum nominal output. Allow the readings on your combustion analyzer to stabilize. For natural gas, the low fire combustion CO2 reading should be 8.6% as shown in Table 30 on page 77 of the install manual. If adjustment is necessary, remove the sealed brass screw from the gas valve. Using an Allen wrench, make very slight adjustments as necessary. Clockwise adjustments increase the CO2 level, whereas counterclockwise decrease the CO2 level. Press the chimney sweep button again to return to normal operation. It is best practice to recheck your high fire CO2 reading if any adjustments to the low fire setting have been made. Press the chimney sweep button until it is no longer illuminated to return to normal operation. Your Bosch Greenstar boiler is now set up and tuned for peak performance. Please take a moment to watch the other 2 videos in this series, FW200 install and setup, and Greenstar LP conversion.